What it do, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 60 of the Axis of Combat podcast. We're here to break down some UFC 303, taking place in the T-Mobile Arena. It's definitely not McGregor and Chandler. It's Poatan Procházka 2. We're also going to be breaking down some Top Rank, some DAZN. But before we get into all that, one of your co-hosts right here, Ray Boogie Kahuna, my co-host.
Hugo the boss, Hugo got next. You already know. And before we get into any of that hoopla, you already know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying these visuals right now, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know.
And before we get into the sweet science, we're going to mix the martial arts here. And in Tapology order, we're going to go with the first fight. And we got Charles Jourdain going one-on-one with João Silva. This is a featherweight bout. Looks like he's kicking off the card. We got Jourdain, 15-7-1, fighting out of Canada, hailing from Canada, 28 years old. Lord Assassin. João Silva, 12-2, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 27 years old. If this is kicking off the card, banger of a fight. Two primarily striking style fighters. Listen, Lord Assassin, kick it off with that boy right there. He walks in like the Undertaker sometimes, right? His presence is sick, you know. But he lives up to the nickname. He used to be like, when I was listening to the Contender Series shit about him, he used to be a former fat boy. So I could level with the man on a certain level. He's got a game plan. His game plan is to go in there, whoop your ass, bust your ass with his hands. Jourdain, on the other hand, similar, but I think he does it a little more technical. I think both guys probably opportunistic when it comes to the submission game. I'm leaning Jourdain here, and I'm gonna lean Jourdain for several reasons. One, UFC experience. Two, I think he's got the quicker hands. Three, I think he's the more technical striker here. Silva, he does have the power. I give him that. And he might actually have the better chin here. But I think this is probably Jourdain's fight to lose. So give me Jourdain here. Probably some sneaky overs in terms of a bet. But in terms of a pure pick, and what I'm predicting here, I think Jourdain's going to win this fight. It's his fight to lose. What about you?
I agree. I think Jourdain has more weapons. I think he poses more of a submission threat. He's going to be the bigger guy by 2 inches. They have the same reach, though. And I think he just has fought the overall better brand of competition, to be frank. I'm choosing Jourdain here simply because of UFC experience and everything I listed above. However, this is arguably the definition of a dog or pass fight. The line is very close. It's almost essentially a pick'em, which makes sense. I just think Jourdain has the weaponry to not only keep and manage distance, but to also land damage and win moments in this fight. João Silva predominantly does it with his boxing. Charles Jourdain can do it with his legs, his grappling, and his hands. So just for that simple fact, I'm going to lean Jourdain.
Next fight on the card at heavyweight, we have a sloppy one. We got Andrei the Pitbull Arlovski going one-on-one with Boris Martin Buday. Arlovski, 34-23, fighting out of Belarus, 45 years old. Buday, 13-2, fighting out of the Slovak Republic, 32 years old. Listen, low-level fight, in my opinion here. I think Buday should win this fight. Buday's last fight against Gaziev was not a good look.
Yeah, I thought he was going to win that fight, to be honest.
He kind of got worked in that fight. And then he's going against Arlovski here, who I think he hasn't knocked anybody else since 2015. I don't think he has to worry about Arlovski's knockout power here. Arlovski could mix in the wrestling here because, I mean, Shamil did expose that a little bit on Buday here, but I think I'm going to lean Buday here in a sloppy, probably goes the distance type fight where I think Buday is going to just push him against the cage, control him for a bit. He might have, not that he might, but he probably will have the power edge. He might have the speed edge, but it's a gross fight overall. It's a heavyweight fight that's going the distance. So give me Buday as the pick. In terms of a bet, I don't really have a feel. The over is probably, but give me Buday here to get the win here. Not with the most confidence.
Yeah, I'm on Arlovski here.
I don't even hate it.
I don't know if I'm gonna bet it, but I think at plus 220 it's a little disrespectful. I don't care if he's 45 years old. I am higher on Waldo Costa or Cortez than Martin Buday in terms of his upside and his potential to do shit in the UFC at the UFC level. And Arlovski took him to a split decision.
I mean, Arlovski's the better striker.
He's way better.
He's the way better striker.
If Buday can't hold him against the fence, he's going to be in trouble. And I think Arlovski has better footwork than Gaziev and Costa. I just think this line is crazy for someone who just got the shit beat out of him in the last fight.
Are you worried about the age?
Not really, because it's heavyweight. And the thing is, he went to a split decision with Waldo, like a split decision. And I knew that was going to happen.
But is that more Arlovski's fault, or not a fault, but is that more because of Arlovski or because Waldo's just,
I think it's both of them.
Yeah.
I think Waldo's a little ass, just like Buday. Big ass, because they're big men. And I think Arlovski's craftiness is going to make every fight with a low-level heavyweight competitive. That's where I'm at this point. Unless the low-level heavyweights step it up, I'm always going to always fade the lower-level heavyweight to a guy who's been the UFC champion and I think has the better striking and footwork.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
When you put it that way, I don't even hate it. I think you're right. This is probably dog or pass. Buday should win this.
He should, but do you trust him?
Arlovski, I mean, I think Arlovski's on a 4-fight losing streak right here. I mean, it doesn't matter. He's a legend in the game, but
Yeah, but he's also let's take a look real quick before I even move on, because I don't want to spend too much time on this because it is a little bit of a low-level fight. Dontel Mays, huge dude, and that was the best Dontel Mays looked. Yeah. Everyone in that mother faded Dontel Mays in that fight.
Is the reason why people still bet Dontel Mays.
De Lima's legit.
Yeah, De Lima's
legit. Yeah. And then he beat Jay Collier, Vandera. That's why I kind of put Buday in that level.
Yeah.
Carlos Felipe, Sherman. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's where I'm at. I just think dog shot. And we play him by decision because he's not knocking Buday out. So that line's going to be crazy. So give me Arlovski. Probably not going to bet it, but maybe I will. Who knows? By decision.
Next fight at bantamweight, at men's bantamweight, we got Payton Talbott going one-on-one with the Desert Warrior, Yanis Ghemmouri. Talbott, perfect. 8-0, fighting out of Reno, Nevada, 25 years old. Yanis Ghemmouri, 12-2, fighting out of France, hailing from France, 29 years old. I know Payton Talbott is probably like minus 1,000 here, right?
1,600.
That is gross.
It's unplayable.
That being said, I mean,
you might as well take a shot on Yanis.
I mean, I don't think it's the worst. I don't think he's gonna win a fight though, but
I don't think so either. But he's a decent striker.
I'll list the things that Ghemmouri can do right here. I think Ghemmouri's got decent leg kicks.
Correct.
Talbot doesn't really check him.
Nope.
Ghemmouri's got okay footwork.
Yep.
The IQ is average. I don't think he's I don't think he's a dumb fighter. That's about it. I mean, he's a striker. This should be Talbot all day, low-key. I mean, Talbot
made of adamantium.
Literally, bones are made out of adamantium. A fist made out of vibranium. Chin made out of titanium. This kid's a Terminator. Talbot, slow starter.
Not his last fight.
Well, yeah, right. Not his last fight. He
went right after him.
He worked Simón, but
easy money.
If Ghemmouri could mix in some grappling here, which Talbot has historically not been the best at, it could get a little interesting. Maybe over 1.5 in terms of a bet. I can see that, but it's gonna be sweaty. I think Talbot wins here. I think Talbot probably knocks this guy the fuck out, low-key. But inside the distance, Talbot should smash this dude. I think sooner or later when he starts fighting the better brand of competition, I think relying on his chin as his sole means of defense is probably going to get to him eventually. But I don't think Ghemmouri is going to be the guy to expose him. At the money line, this current line is ass. You can't really play it.
You can't play it. Maybe I would love to see the round 1 props when it drops and the round 2 props. If the round 2 props look good, I'll take a shot.
I think Talbott round 2 is probably
That's juicy. Yeah. Even 3, depending. Yeah. But we'll see what that comes out to. But to be honest, this line is unplayable. Like, I don't want to spend too much time on this fight, but I think Ghemmouri's going to have a hard time taking him down just because he's working at an alpha male, and that's been his predominant camp for most of his career, and he's gotten better. Simon got in deep on his hips on some of those takedown attempts and could not get him to the floor. So I think it's going to be tough fucking sledding for Yanis. So Talbot by destruction. I'll say round 2.
Next fight at men's bantamweight, we got Ricky Simón going on Juan. Then I got a little Hispanic there. Going Juan with Vinicius Loke Dog Oliveira. Simón, 20-5, fighting out of Vancouver, Washington, 31 years old. Oliveira, 20-3. Damn, I didn't realize he had that many fights. Fighting out of Brazil, hailing out of Brazil, 28 years old.
And he's young, yeah.
He's super young. Jesus. This is an interesting fight for Oliveira. I think, is he the dog in this fight?
He is, for sure.
I think he should be the dog. I mean, his last fight, I mean, arguably, it was like earlier this year. It was like in January, February.
Knockout of the year.
Still, I think in contention for knockout of the year. But what Bernardo Sopai was able to show in that fight was Oliveira's lack of takedown defense.
I think it got exposed on the contender series too. A little bit.
I don't remember that fight.
Yeah.
But I think you're right.
Sopai definitely exposed it.
He's going against a guy in Ricky Simón where, I mean, this fucking whole guy's game plan is takedown.
He beat what's this guy's name? Marab.
He put him to sleep.
Dude, on his debut, if I'm correct. So, like, this guy's wrestling is as high level as it gets. He's not going to get tired like Sopai did. Even on 3 days' notice, I would not count on Ricky Simón to get gassed. No. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Off the couch, like, Ricky Simón is going to have better cardio than 85% of the roster.
Yeah, this is a big step up for Vinicius, and I don't like the step up for him. I think Ricky Simón's going to get it done, and I think he probably gets it done by submission.
Yeah, I mean, listen, is it unconventional striker versus grappler here? Because I think Simón, his striking's okay. It has gotten better. I mean, not good enough to beat like
Tonga Dong, who's a monster puncher.
Yeah. I mean, Oliveira, I think if he could keep this fight standing for whatever reason, I mean, he can do it. But I just see Ricky Simón at least banking 2 rounds easily. I think this fight probably does go the distance. Ricky Simón, I think, is tough, dude. It's hard to knock out.
I think he gets him out with a sub. I really do. I think like second, third round sub for Ricky. I think this is a little bit of a mismatch for Vinicius, to be honest.
I like Vinicius though, man.
I like him too.
Yeah,
it's just tough sledding.
His fucking nickname is Loke Dog. Yeah, I don't hate the submission look.
Especially late. I don't think he gets in the first round because Vinicius is a little bit of a wormy scrambler. But I think as the fight goes on, he's gonna realize this is a different level, and Ricky's gonna smash him. I really do. I think Ricky's a fucking hammer. So, Ricky Simón.
Next fight on the prelims at middleweight, we have Joe Body Bags Pyfer going one-on-one with the power bar Marc-André Barriault. Pyfer, 12-3, fighting out of Pennsylvania, 27 years old. Barriault, 16-7, fighting out of Boca Raton, Florida, 34 years old. Pyfer, we'll start with Pyfer. Kind of got exposed a bit in his last fight against Hermanson, where Hermanson was like, he just let him know, like, you know, you're good, but there's levels to this shit. You know what I'm saying? There's some levels. You know what I'm saying? You're not there yet, Pyfe. You're not there. That being said, I mean, I don't think this is this is a step down from Hermanson, but I think this is still a good power bar. Like that pun?
Yeah, I like
power,
that pun.
Because his nickname is Power Bar.
Yeah, I got it.
Nice little bar.
For the casuals,
yeah.
We don't know what's going on.
It's still a decent step up for Pyfer here, and I think it's a fight that Pyfer probably could win if he goes to the grappling.
I agree.
If Pyfer decides to stand with this guy,
it's 50-50 low-key.
It's probably a 50-50 fight because, I mean, Barriault, historically durable. I know he's had 1 or 2 fights where I think he got flash knocked down in one fight.
Yeah.
But, I mean, overall, Barriault's a good striker with a decent chin. Can Pyfer knock him? I'm not saying he can't knock him out, but, I mean, it's not the preferred method of victory here if Pyfer wants to get back on the horse and, you know, continue his journey to being a ranked fighter. I'm going to say Pyfer wins here if he gets to the wrestling. And distance.
I don't know.
Inside, how you feeling?
This one I have to think about. I'd probably say sub if he gets to the wrestling. I think Pyfer's double leg is going to be there all day. I don't know how MMA is going to stop him. But what I will say is if this fight stays standing, it's a 50-50 fight. Because now, the volume from MAB is going to be absurd. Are
you concerned about Pyfer's cardio?
I am. That's exactly why this fight is 50-50 on the feet. I think if it gets to the wrestling, MAB will get tired faster than Pyfer, especially if Pyfer puts his body weight on him.
I'm thinking maybe Pyfer, if he wins, it's probably Pyfer sub.
I would go sub.
I would go Pyfer sub. As a pick, definitely Pyfer. I think this is probably a bounce back fight if he doesn't fuck it up. Just stick with the game plan. Take Barriault down. He can be taken down. And I think he should secure the victory here.
Correct. If you're getting taken down by Eric Anders at this level.
What a lazy ass single leg.
Lazy ass single leg.
Kind of just like went like this and then.
He fell over. Man,
yeah. Those wheelbarrows that construction workers doing cement. A bunch of dirt in. Yes, the cement barrels. He just went like, man, tipped them over, bro. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, no, this is a get right fight for Pyfer. If he doesn't fuck it up, 100%. But Pyfer, either decision or sub. We'll see how we're gonna play it.
Next fight on the card at flyweight, we have Carlos Hernandez going 1-on-1 with the debuting Rey. I think his name is Tsuruya.
Yeah,
I think that's correct. How you say it. Rey Tsuruya.
UFC really cracking into this Japanese scene.
Yeah, man, the road to UFC joint, like
they're trying.
They're really trying to bring some fighters, and some of the fighters that they've been bringing in
are fucking good.
Like this guy, for instance. Yeah. I'll start with Tsuruya. He is perfect, 9-0, fighting out of Japan, hailing from Japan, 22 years old. Hernandez, 9-3, fighting out of Illinois, 30 years old. I think the current line has Tsuruya probably at like -500 or above, right? It's got to be something outrageous, I think. I think Tsuruya should get this done pretty easily. I'm going to pick Tsuruya here. I think he's going to get it done by submission. I won't rule out like ground and pound, but I mean, this kid's legit. His road to UFC kind of ran through a lot of the guys. His grappling, Olympic level.
Yep.
Literally Olympic level. I think his first road to UFC fight, I mean, in within a minute and a half, had a guy in a fucking twister, had him in like 3 different submissions, was able to get him with a fucking like a Kimura, but from like almost like a headlock position. It was some crazy shit. This kid's legit on the ground. I am worried about if this fight goes a little deep, if Hernandez is able to kind of like withstand that storm. Hernandez don't have any knockouts, but his stand up is decent. He had put on a decent display against Bondar, who I think is ass. I think he ended up remember, I think that was the fight where he knocked out Bondar, but it was like a mat slam, and they kind of try to rule it like a headbutt knockout. It was some
which
weird
is crazy.
Shit. They try to rob my man. They technically robbed him of a fucking knockout there, but I think they gave him the technical decision. But he also got rinsed by Taira on the feet.
Yeah.
Tatsuro, who, just beat Alex Perez. I don't know, quote unquote, controversially. I'm not gonna.
No, he won that fight.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
He won that fight.
He did though. Hernandez does have a loss to Alan Nascimento on the ground. I mean, Nascimento is kind of a beast.
He's filthy.
That kind of just gives me any kind of inkling. Not the inkling, but that kind of lean. That's kind of what is selling me on Tsuruya winning this fight. Tsuruya's grappling, A1. His wrestling, A1. His chain wrestling. I think Tsuruya. Submission. That's the side. That's the pick. If the prop looks nice, maybe round 1, round 2, and hopefully he doesn't get tired, because if he gets tired, Hernandez could probably take over late, but I don't see Hernandez making it past the 2nd round. What about you?
Agreed.
Next fight on the prelims here, we have at women's strawweight, the karate hottie Michelle Waterson-Gomez going 1-on-1 with the savage Gillian Robertson. Waterson-Gomez, 18-12, fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, 38 years old. Robertson, the Savage, 13-8, fighting out of Canada, actually hailing from Canada, fighting out of Fort St. Lucie, Florida, 29 years old. I don't know how this fight got put together. I'm assuming because, is it Din Thomas is the one that kind of manages Robertson? He's pretty good at like, kind of trying to handpick some fights for her and, kind of move her up the ladder.
This one makes sense.
I think this is it's a step up for Robertson, but I think it's a good fight to kind of attack. I mean, Michelle, for lack of a better term, she got her ass whooped her last fight.
It was hard to watch.
It was bad. It was really bad.
Hard to watch. She got beat to tears, essentially, which I felt for her because she's the nicest person on the planet. If you ever heard her, listen to her, but I mean, Marina Rodriguez is a fucking hammer.
Waterson historically has solid takedown defense. Really hasn't been taken down by anybody.
That's not elite.
That's not elite.
It's crazy.
And I mean, she did lose against Esparza, which is probably not the best look considering that she stuffed 9 of her 10 attempts.
Carla's got decent boxing though.
She does.
She's got serviceable boxing, especially when she has the threat of the takedown going. I mean, she beat Rose Namajunas, bro.
I think the main issue with Waterson is that she's not only that she's old, but she's been fighting in this weight class that she doesn't really belong in. She's really at bantamweight.
Yeah.
She should be fighting at 105. I think Waterson, if she keeps this fight standing, beats the shit out of Robertson because I think Robertson, even though she's made strides in her own boxing,
it's not. I wouldn't even say it's serviceable.
It's not even that. She just, when she gets hit, she just doesn't look comfortable on her feet ever. You can tell that she wants this fight on the ground as soon as possible.
Pretty binary fight.
It's tough. I'm gonna lean Waterson. It just depends on. This is a fight where I kind of want to listen to the interviews and see where her mental's at because her last fight not only broke her down physically, but I think it broke her down mentally because Waterson, she has higher aspirations in this division. You know what I'm saying? And at 38, the way she got crushed, I mean, I don't know where she's at mentally. If she's any kind of locked in, I think she probably wins this fight. If she's not, Robertson should be able to maybe cage push and then get to her back, and from there, I don't know. This fight, I'm kind of like, I think Waterson is probably the side. I don't know if she's locked in.
Yeah, I'm with you on the locked in stuff, but I will say at plus 164 and Gillian a minus 200. I'm taking. I would take a shot at Michelle. Michelle stuffed 10 of Carla Esparza's 11 takedown attempts, and
no, it's 9 of 10.
So 9 of 10. Sorry, she stuffed 9 out of the 10.
It was a lot.
Yeah. She technically took down Lemos before Lemos jumped guillotine on her in the next round. She got taken down by, I believe, Rose Namajunas as well, or she got knocked down and subbed. What I'm trying to explain to you guys is that she has decent takedown defense.
She does.
She does. Lemos is like literally like a fucking gorilla. So for her to like get guillotined by her, okay. And she was winning that fight till she got guillotined. She got screwed against Luana Pinheiro, if I'm correct.
She did.
That was I had money in that fight. That was easy picking.
She won that fight.
I mean, it was nothing like the Tisha Torres loss to Tabitha Ricci.
Oh no.
It was nothing like that.
But it was still kind of.
It was fucked.
It was kind of fucked.
It was fucked. So I still think Michelle has water in the tank. It's just whether or not mentally she's there. Mm-hmm. If she sounds there, I'm playing her. Because I think she's just a better all around fighter. I think she trains out of the better gym. She trained with the better training partners that get her ready for this shit. And I think Dean Thomas picked this fight just because of how she got beat up the last fight.
Yeah.
If she didn't get beat up the last fight, I don't think Gillian's taking this fight. I'm just being honest.
I think if you do like the Robertson side, I don't know if she wins the decision here. I think sub is probably her only really crazy path to victory here. Because I think if the fight plays out the way I think it's going to play out, I think Waterson keeps it standing and just, her striking is just way better.
It's worlds better. Worlds. And the thing is, she's no slouch with the wrestling either. If she took down Gillian, would I be surprised? No. Gillian would welcome it. Because Gillian's ass too, like with the wrestling defense, but it's because she likes to play off her back too much. So Michelle can win minutes there too, and she's competent enough on the floor to understand what's going on. Yeah, I love Michelle in this spot. As long as she's locked in.
Next fight on the card at men's featherweight, we have is that really his nickname? Killer? Killer Cub?
Yeah.
Cub Swanson.
Killer B.
I can't believe I didn't know that was his nickname.
Yeah. Yep.
Jesus. That's so basic. But it makes sense. Killer Cub Swanson going one-on-one with Andrei, the guy like touchy-feely. That's a godlike touch. Touchy, you hear me? That's a godlike nickname.
Hey, no Diddy.
No Diddy. Pause, no Diddy. Swanson, 29-13, fighting out of Palm Springs, California, 40 years old. Fili, he's touchy. He is Fili. 23-11, fighting out of Sacramento, California, 34 years old. Kind of a crossroads fight for both men, I think. Cub Swanson, 40 years old. I don't think he has any kind of aspirations for the title at the moment. I think he's just one of these guys that just likes to get in and just, for the love of the game. Andrei still has a path.
Correct.
It's a long, rigorous path. Featherweight is killer. But I mean, getting over Cub Swanson is probably a good first step, right? I'm going to lean Cub here. I'm only going to lean Cub here maybe for about two reasons. One, I don't really trust Fili's chin that much. And two, I think Swanson, if this fight stays on the feet, is the better striker. I think he's the better offensive striker, and I think he's better defensively. Fili is going to be the bigger man. I think Fili is also going to have the reach advantage. This fight is probably a sneaky over. I don't think unless maybe I got to think about that one for a bit. I think this fight probably goes to the decision sneaky, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm on the fence with this fight. I'm going to lean Fili.
Ooh.
And I'm going to lean Fili.
Touchy.
Because even though I think he's probably going to lose the minutes in this fight, I think he's just going to catch Cub with a good shot and put him down. I'm going to go with Fili here just because I think Cub is washed, man. I really do. I don't like Fili at this line. If you want to play Cub at plus 160 plus, I'm not. Shit, the dogs are barking. But this is a fight I pretty much don't want anything to do with. I'm just picking to pick. And I don't trust Fili's chin. I don't trust his IQ. I don't trust Cub's chin or his durability to his body. I just think he's old and he's going against a big puncher in there. So it's like,
if I knew Fili would go to the grappling more, because I think the way to beat Cub is to sub his ass.
Knock him out or control him.
But for me, is this one of those fights? It's that Vince Carter meme. You know what I'm saying? I think Cub's got one more in him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think he could squeak this one out low key, even at 40 years old. And I like Andrei a lot, but you're right. The IQ sometimes is out the window a bit. The chin is 100% out the window. I actually trust Cub's chin over Fili's. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's scary. It's scary times in that fight. It's a fight that I don't want anything to do with, to be frank. I'll figure out a way to bet it because I'm crazy. But it probably won't involve me picking a side. That's the truth. It'd be fight doesn't go or fight does go. I gotta look more into it. But Fili is the pick. Not very confident on it.
Next fight on the card, I think this is gonna be this is on the main card, but I don't know if this is opening the main card. But this is the first fight on the main card as currently constituted according to Tapology. Subject to change. We'll keep that in, throwing it out there. Anthony Smith, Lionheart, going one-on-one with the Caucasian.
From the mountains of Caucasus.
Roman Dolidze. Lionheart Smith, 38-19, fighting out of Omaha, Nebraska, 35 years old. Roman Dolidze, 12-3, fighting out of Georgia, 35 years old. This fight evolved. Listen, this fight was not on the card at all. This fight literally just got made today. The original fight was the co-main to the Chandler McGregor main event.
Jamal Hill.
This was supposed to be Jamal Hill and
Carlos Ulberg.
Khalil Roundtree.
Khalil Roundtree, that's right. Khalil falls out.
Roundtree falls out. Ulberg steps in.
Yep.
Jamal falls out. Anthony steps in.
Ulberg
falls out. And if you think Anthony Smith is getting off the couch for this one, Dolidze is bringing the couch with him because he's literally super last minute. This fight's next week. Both these guys are coming off the couch. It's a good fight. It might be a bad fight for a particular person, but I think it's a good fight. I'm gonna throw this one at you first. Tell me what you think.
I think this is a tough fight for Anthony Smith because not durable anymore. I think he's shot.
I mean, listen, he's coming off a win.
Yeah,
off
for Petrino, which
Vito Petrino, who turned his fucking brain off.
Yeah. The thing is, you see that guillotine shit?
Yeah.
That jiu-jitsu shit?
That jiu-jitsu.
It's not going to work on Roman.
Yeah.
It's not.
You don't say.
No, this dude took shots from fucking Marvin Vettori from multiple rounds. Took shots from Imavov for multiple rounds.
He got worked by Imavov.
Worked. That was bad look. But the thing is,
that was the best I think Imavov has looked.
Imavov is he's a very motionary target. He moves a lot. Anthony Smith, not so fucking much. And what's he gonna do? He's gonna sub Roman? I think Roman's better than him on the floor. Roman's probably gonna be stronger than him. Roman's more durable than him. I'm curious to see what this line opens up at because it might be a max bet. Nah, I won't go that far.
Damn.
It won't go that far.
I don't know. I mean, Roman's cardio a little, you know what I'm saying? Maybe.
Anthony Smith's not that great. It's better than his, but it ain't that great.
Now, I do trust Anthony Smith's IQ more than Dolidze as well.
Interesting. I don't know.
I feel like Dolidze be like, I don't know.
He be Dolidze, I know.
He be, he let that Georgian blood take over and he turned his brain off sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, he be going full fucking warrior in that bitch.
Yeah, because even Marvin Vettori at this point, even though he's a brute, he has better footwork than Anthony Smith.
Yes.
You know I'm right.
Well,
like,
I mean, does he? Yeah, he does. He does.
The way he stood on the outside in that fight was a showing. Like, it was impressive. But Marvin's a wrestler, and he didn't want to wrestle him down because he understands how good Roman is off his back. I think Roman's going to fuck him up. I really do. I think I give Anthony a lot of credit. I like his chances better against Olberg just because of the wrestling and the grappling. I think he has no way out in this fight. Is he going to knock him out? He's going to knock out Roman Dolidze? Come on, bro.
Does he sub him?
Hell no.
He will. I know.
Hell no. Dude,
I just wanted that for the reaction.
That calf slicer he got Jack Hermanson in, and then he like mounted him like from behind. Ayo. Like
took his back.
Dude.
Hit that George Michaels.
That's as nasty. That's as nasty. That's as nasty as it gets. That's very hard to not only get on someone that can grapple like Jack, but also in an MMA fight. And then a calf slicer that he's able to mount as opposed to pulling him back on. Dude, Roman Dolidze is a gorilla, son.
Was that Roman's best performance in the UFC so far?
I get best opponent for sure. So? Yeah, I think this is a fight that Roman should win. Like the other fights,
even off the couch.
Yes, I would like to. You know what? Thank you for that, because I would like to see him on the scale. If he's been taking it easy, I'll lean Anthony a little bit more. I'll probably stay off the fight entirely. But if he looks good, I think he's gonna fuck him up.
This could be one of those fights where you play Dolidze early, but like if it gets to that third round,
yeah, he's gonna be huffing there.
Anthony's probably gonna have the better cardio, and like he might be alive there.
Yeah,
he might be alive there.
I'm not mad at that. Thank you for reminding me that he's taking this on short notice.
Literally off the couch.
Yeah, so we'll see what he looks like on the scale. If he looks crazy, like I'll play him. But if not, I think you play round 1, round 2, and then you leave the rest to God with Anthony Smith on a live bet. So, but yeah, I like Roman here.
Next fight on the main card at welterweight, we have the future, Ian Machado Garry, going 1-on-1 with Michael Venom Page. MVP. Garry, perfect. 14-0, fighting out of Ireland, hailing from Ireland, 26 years old. Page, 22-2, fighting out of the United Kingdom, 37 years old. A fight that I didn't think we were going to get initially. But I guess since nobody really wants to fight Ian Garry.
And no one wants to fight Michael Venom Page, apparently.
Nobody really wants to fight Michael Venom. They matched him up. I know Ian Garry was talking a bunch of yang about not really wanting to fight down. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think it's a winnable fight for him.
I agree.
And I also think, even though he's fighting down in rank, I mean, it's... he doesn't want to get cold on the sideline, waiting for Colby Covington to fucking make up his mind on, because that's the fight he really wanted.
And in technicality, he only jumped on this card because it was a McGregor card.
Yeah.
He wanted to be on this card because of Conor. Conor's no longer here. Now he feels like it's just a job to do, which is a little worrisome in some ways, but.
In some ways. Listen, MVP is going to give him a lot of problems on the feet. But, I mean, MVP gives a lot of people a lot of problems.
Ian's been saying that he's going to stay on the feet with this guy. He better get his wrestling shoes on very fast.
It's going to be interesting because, I mean, I think if Garry lands on him, I think Ian Garry's got some lead in the pipes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he kept talking. He kept referring to the Douglas Lima fight in Bellator, and no disrespect to Ian Garry, he doesn't have that left hook that Douglas Lima has. Douglas Lima could put down a 205 with that left hand. So it's like, for me, it's like, I understand what Ian's game plan may be, but you have to time him. You have to. I think it's easier said than done. You haven't really been active because you pulled out of one fight because of the flu. Then Colby didn't fall through. MVP just came off an ass whipping on Kevin Holland. He's already talking
handing out the ass whooping.
He's already talking about fighting Kamaru, which means he's probably working on his wrestling. I think MVP's a lot stronger than he looks. I think MVP is a lot better than most people think he is. Now, with that said, I will favor Ian to win this fight.
Yes.
Because I do think he has the size and the wrestling chops to deal with him. With that said, Ian Garry I haven't seen profound wrestling from him. And if Kenan Song is landing big left hooks on you, MVP is probably going to hit you. And if you don't wrestle him, you're going to be, don't stand with this guy. That's the mission. If you stand with him, you're probably going to lose.
It's going to be one of those fights where it's like that classic Rocky scene where Rocky's trying to chase the chicken.
Yes.
Ian Garry is going to be Rocky. MVP is the chicken.
The chicken.
I mean,
that is hilarious.
MVP is going to be hard to catch and he's going to be hard to hold down. I'm assuming, Ian Garry might have the footwork to kind of corner him a bit better than Holland. Holland don't give a shit. Like Holland, he's one of those guys. He don't really cut off the cage. Ian Garry's probably got the better footwork. So I can see him cutting the cage off a bit. But MVP, I think he's got underrated speed.
And power.
Obviously underrated power.
He's a bigger punching wonder boy.
Yeah.
He is. And I think people think I'm like trying to pump this guy and he's a Bellator guy. Bro, if you understand striking, you understand how good he is.
Yeah.
He's very fucking good. And if you're not wrestling him, he says it time and time again, he's not lying. You're going to think you can stand with him and then you're like, oh shit, I need to wrestle this guy because I literally cannot catch this motherfucker.
Yeah.
And even Kevin Holland was like, dude, I had to wrestle him.
He got frustrated, man.
Yeah, because
when he can get him, because it was hard to get him.
Kevin could find Wonder Boy more than he could fight MVP.
Yeah,
it's crazy, bro. This is a great fight. I'm gonna lean Ian, but I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if MVP wins a decision here.
Yeah, or knocks him out. I
think from a betting perspective, I think I kind of like the over 1.5. If they set it at over 1.5,
agree.
At 2.5, maybe. I wouldn't rule it out because I do think this fight probably goes the distance more often than not. Because Ian Garry's also a cautious fighter.
They're going to be very respectful of the space.
Yes,
I could almost guarantee. I think the first round's going to be. There won't even be. If there was an over under for strikes and it was like 30 landed, I'd take the under. Even if it was 25 or 20.
Yeah.
If it was lucrative enough, I'd play it because I think there's going to be a lot of reading and not a lot of action going on.
What's going to be interesting is the second round adjustment that Ian Garry makes.
Or MVP.
But you're right. First round is probably going to be a wash. Probably going to be like a boring feeling out kind of fight. But after that, it gets spicy.
Yeah. And if you want the real two guys, here's the other thing. I thought Jeff Neal beat Ian Garry. And I don't think that's a hot take. I thought Jeff worked him. I really do. I thought he won the first round. That's the thing. And even I think Bisping, when he actually is on correctly with commentary, he actually mentioned that fight. A lot of those shots were like arm shots. He wasn't really hitting Jeff Neal with the kicks and stuff and that. He maybe with one or two good teeps, and that's it. But I just think MVP is a different level. I really do. I think MVP is a fucking hammer. I'm not confident enough to play him. But I'm not confident enough to play Ian either. I think the over is the play in this fight. I really do. I think this fight's very competitive.
Next fight on the main card, and as currently constituted, this is the featured bout, and it is currently constituted. It is a females bantamweight fight featuring Shitada. Mayra Bueno Silva going one-on-one with Macy Chiasson. Silva, 10-3-1, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 32 years old. Chiasson, 9-3, fighting out of Dallas, Texas, 32 years old. Why this fight is the featured bout?
Probably won't remain there.
I got questions.
It probably won't remain there.
I feel like it's been there for a while, though.
Who knows what's going to happen? Will all the mix-arounds with this card? Who knows? Because I don't think either one of these girls getting a shot at Raquel after this. I think it's Kayla Harrison all the way to the moon at this point.
Yeah, this is pretty much like this is like a number one contender, but like the number one contender
behind the number one contender.
Behind the number one contender.
Yeah.
Where they're trying to establish like, you know, pecking order here in this fight. Bueno Silva, I mean, arguably had her worst showing as a fighter in that last fight against Pennington. I think she said it was like her hand that she hurt, I think, or
she had some injury.
Hurt something in the first round.
Her ego.
Her pride.
Mm-hmm.
She looked good the first 2 rounds, but then just completely fell off a cliff.
You're being nice. The first round.
No, round and a half.
Yeah, and then she fell off a cliff. She fell off a cliff.
She fell off a fucking cliff. I'll give Shitawa a couple things. I think she's probably one of the more wicked submission artists in this division.
Correct.
I think even though her boxing is not that good and her footwork is terrible, she's got mallets. She got some lead in the pipes. You know what I'm saying? She can hit. When she lands, she can hit hard. Things I don't like about her cardio, the IQ.
Super necessary.
Chase Song. She's been growing as a fighter.
I agree.
In this particular fight, I mean, she's gonna have the size advantage, length and reach, 100%. I mean, she used to be a former featherweight. She's literally a featherweight fighting at bantamweight. I think she's got the better striking in terms of technique.
I agree.
She throws 1-2s down the pipe. She's got the better footwork. When it comes to the grappling, she's made strides. The wrestling has gotten better. The grappling also has come a long way. I don't think she wants to play around with Bueno Silva on the ground here. I wouldn't recommend it because I think that's literally her only path to victory here.
Unless she's dead exhausted.
I know Bueno Silva's the favorite, and I get it. She's fought the better brand. She's got the finishing upside, in my opinion. I think if Chase Song can keep her on the outside, fight a smart game plan.
Cage push.
Which
she's good at doing too.
Pick and prod, stick and move. I think she can win this fight.
I think she could wear her down and win this fight as well.
And physically, she's going to be the bigger girl. Bueno Silva's like takedowns are kind of shit.
Yeah.
Her wrestling is not good, but
her jiu-jitsu's
lights
out.
Decent.
It's lights out.
You know, she's got decent trips. If I'm Chase Song, just don't fuck around. Don't fuck around with the grappling with this girl. Chase Song, because I could see it. She's shooting for a takedown. Bam. She just grabs Gilly.
Yeah.
Because it's happened to her against fucking... She didn't get choked out, but it happened to her against her last fight in Kianzad. Mm-hmm. Where Kianzad was able to just like grab her neck immediately. Like if Bueno Silva has that same opportunity, I think she's done.
Going to sleep.
She's done so. Pennington also beat Chiesa on a similar way, where she kind of just threw herself in there, and I think Pennington beat her by submission. Don't fuck around with this girl. I think Chase Song, if she with a game plan, she's the side. I know she's the dog, but I think she's the side. But if you're asking me, I got a bad feeling. I think Silva by submission is probably I think Silva might win this
That's
fight.
the only way to play her, in my opinion.
It's the only way.
Because
she's not going to win a decision.
It's almost like the Holly Holm fight. Like, and that's how I kind of like look at this. They had, like, Chiesa kind of has a similar game plan to how Holly approaches her fights. I just think that Chiesa is a little more physically gifted, to be frank, a lot younger, and kind of just bigger. She's just a bigger girl.
For me,
I think the only way to play Mayra is via submission.
Yeah,
I think Chiesa should win this fight. She was working Irene Aldana till she got kicked in the liver from bottom, which is like freakish.
Yeah,
I'm very high on Irene Aldana.
It was such a meme KO.
Irene Aldana, you want the real? I still think she has the tools to beat Amanda Nunes. She might
have lost that fight if that fight went the distance.
Yeah, I agree. She was just a deer in headlights against Nunes, and every time she landed on Nunes, she hurt her, and that's why I think Nunes was like, all right, I got to retire because this girl's fucking dangerous and there's just going to be more after her, to be frank. But I can't play Mayra at minus 205. I'm sorry. This is definitely a dog or pass play.
Especially after that last fight. It was just like, man, I was just so disappointed.
Yeah, Chiesa could work her and get her tired. And if she goes into her guard when she's tired, I could see her just beating her up there too. Yeah. I wouldn't even fuck around, but like I think Chiesa wins this fight more times than not. So I'm gonna lean Chiesa in this fight. Not sure if I'm gonna play it though.
Next fight on the card at featherweight, and as currently constituted, the co-main event of the evening for UFC 303, we have a new co-main event, because it was supposed to be Jamal Hill. It was supposed to be Khalil Roundtree. We got this banger of a fight, and it's unfortunate that it's only 3 rounds. Brian T. City Ortega going one-on-one with he got no nickname, but he's the Mexican Brazilian sensation, Diego Lopez.
It's all in the hair, man.
Is it Lopez or Lopes? I hear people call him Lopes.
I think it's Lopez.
I think it's Lopez too. Mm-hmm. Ortega, 16-3, fighting out of Torrance, California, 33 years old. Diego Lopez, hailing from Brazil, fighting out of Mexico, 29 years old, 24-6 overall. What a fucking fight.
We don't deserve this fight.
No, this fight.
That just to start.
My God.
We don't deserve this fight.
I wonder if the initial plan was even to like give Lopez this fight initially. I feel like because they were having so many problems trying to keep this fucking card together, they might have just leapfrogged Lopez straight from fucking Sadiq straight to Ortega.
Yeah.
That being said, I think this fight is good. This fight is very good. I got thoughts, but I'm going to throw to you first because I feel like you could tee this up a little better than I can.
Yeah. Just to kick it off, I'm going to lean Diego Lopez. He's going to be the bigger guy. This is going to be the biggest puncher that Brian Ortega has fought. But if you wanted to play Brian Ortega as a dog, I'm not looking at you crazy for this, man. The reason being, Brian, the cleaner puncher, in my opinion, the jiu-jitsu, I think he has a slightly better head and arm choke series than Diego. And that's me analyzing it to the T, because both of them have an elite level head and arm choke series at the UFC level.
I mean, with guys with this kind of jiu-jitsu caliber, or just this kind of like fight caliber in general, I mean, it kind of requires a little bit of a deeper dive, because like, I mean, man, they're close in terms of skill, so that's why you have to break down the intricacies a bit. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. The leg lock series is Diego Lopez. I think he's better. I think he's also better against the cage. With cage pushing, he kind of makes you work into his jiu-jitsu. But Brian's the better wrestler. I think this fight, the play, just to throw it, I think is a over, because they're both so durable. I don't see either one of them subbing each other. I think that Brian and Diego I think this is a big step up for Diego. I really do. Brian is not going to go anywhere. Imagine if Diego somehow knocks this dude out. I would be fucking surprised, but I wouldn't. It's because low key, this is the biggest puncher I think Brian Ortega's fought. Max Holloway, not a big puncher. Volkanovski, not a big puncher. Yair Rodriguez is a big puncher, but Yair doesn't have the grappling defense or the cardio to sustain that attack.
I think in terms of just like, and I'm going back to the phrase, in terms of just pure lead in the pipe, I think Diego probably hits hard, bro. Yeah.
Diego also has gone 5 rounds, and 5 rounds at a high pace. Does not get tired, throws volume, hits hard. He has the power edge over T-City, but T-City, I think, has the more technical boxing. I agree with you. Like, I know you mentioned to me yesterday, he throws the straighter punches. He does a lot of good things here. This fight should be 5 rounds, and it's not. And it really bothers me that it's not, because I feel like we're going to get the full value and intricacies of who's the actual better fighter in a 5-round fight. With that said, I'm going to lean Lopez, man, but I might switch that pick by the end of the week. I made a max bet on Lopez against Sadiq, and I'm telling you that this fight is not the Sadiq fight. This is a big step up for Lopez. Evelev had moments on Lopez, and he's not a striker. I think Brian will too, and I think Brian's the slightly better wrestler. With that said, I still think Lopez has the X factor in this fight, especially with the hands. I think he just hits way harder. He has a good left hook, and he has a good uppercut. Very good uppercut and left hook. And he throws it with power. His right hand is also a fucking piston. The thing is, if you're going into a fight to knock out Brian Ortega, I don't know if it's the proper game plan.
I don't think so.
I think you have to kind of try to point this guy, control him with the wrestling, which Lopez can do. And his jiu-jitsu is good enough to mitigate a lot of what Brian's probably going to do. But if you're asking me as an overall acumen for jiu-jitsu, Brian's the better grappler here. He is. He just is. With that said, I think Diego has the better MMA jiu-jitsu. And I think that might be the reason why he wins this fight. And I think he'll have the bigger moments in this fight relative to T-City. And I think that's what might swing it. But like I said, if I change my pick by the end of the week, don't be surprised. I think the overs are live here.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm at with this fight. I think the overs are live as fuck. But Diego's going to have 3 inches in height on this guy. And I think they're going to be slightly similar in reach. So,
yeah, for me,
Diego's going to be the slightly bigger guy in this fight. So,
for me, like,
not slightly, he's going to be the bigger guy.
I don't hate the slight lean towards Diego. I'm kind of rooting for Diego because I'm just a fan of the fucking guy.
I like both these guys.
But for me, I think my lean, because I'm not too confident in either, but my lean is going to be Brian. One, because I do think his boxing is underrated. I think his chin historically is durable. He's gonna be the better striker. I do think his wrestling, I'd give him the slight edge in the wrestling. And Ortega, his resume, I mean, he's only lost to literally Volk and Max. And then the Yair fight, but he avenged that loss. You know what I'm saying? So,
Correct.
And he did it in, dominant fashion, in my opinion. So for all that, I am going to be leaning Brian. It's probably going to be a play for me, but I'm kind of just sitting on it for a bit because I kind of want to see where the line goes, and I kind of want to see everything. I want to see the talk. I want to see the walk. I want to see the weigh-in. I want to see the face-off. I want to absorb everything about this fight because this fight, top to bottom, is a fucking banger.
This is a fight of the year candidate.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because they might get slighted just because it's not 5 rounds. But what these boys can do in 3 rounds is going to be fucking insane. It's going to be insane. I feel it already. The pace. Diego fights one way.
Yeah.
One way. And Brian will welcome it.
Next fight on the card, currently constituted, the main event. And it's not Connor. It's not Chandler. We're getting Jiří Procházka going one-on-one with Payton.
Everything's going to be A-okay.
Alex Pereira. Banger of a fight. This is the sequel, by the way.
Yeah, we were at the first one at MSG. And we picked Payton and bet at Payton.
That's right.
So,
we're big Payton fans here. We're big Jiří fans here too, but
yes.
we got Pereira here. 10-2. The champion. Fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil. 36 years old. BJP. I didn't even know that was his nickname. Jiří Procházka. 34-1. Fighting out of the Czech Republic. 31 years old. I don't know how this fight's going to go down. I'm assuming it's going to go down a bit similar to the last fight. I think Procházka is obviously he's the one that needs to make the adjustment here. I'm feeling a little wild here. Because I think Jiří could probably win this fight.
100%.
The reason why is because, it's not the...
Rematches are a real thing.
Rematches is like, he's been in there with Pereira. He knows what to expect from Pereira. Jiří, coming off of a great win over Rakic.
Oh, God, don't remind me.
Jiří's got the same problems. Can't take a leg kick. Defense a little porous. But he leans on the chin. He's got the power. If he mixes in the grappling like he did before.
And the feinting and the pressure.
He needs to.
Because that was one thing that I will say was the difference between like him fighting Alex in the first fight and then him fighting Rakic. Rakic, he put up a ton of feints and made Rakic swing when he wasn't even going. He did a lot of good shit. And if that Jiří shows up, he can beat anybody in this division. I'm gonna lean Pereira, man. But I'm not. I might bet Jiří here.
I think if Jiří, because Jiří found success
in the grappling, and he connected him on the feet too.
And when he had him, I think the best place to exploit Pereira is the same spot where Izzy did against the cage.
Correct.
Where Pereira can't really use his movement, and he has no choice. But like you can see his punches coming.
Yeah.
The problem with Jiří is Jiří tried to, when he had him against the cage,
he went crazy.
He went a little nut. Jiří needs to, reel that back a little bit.
If he comes in the same way he did against Rakic,
yes,
this fight can look a lot fucking different.
Yes.
And listen, let's just talk about Pereira's last 8 months, to just be frank.
Go ahead.
UFC 295, headline, world's most famous arena, MSG. Me and my brother were present. Knocked out Jiří. UFC 300, short notice. Took that, ran with it. Actually, the 295 one was technically the John Jones card. John Jones fell out. He stepped up, took in. UFC 300. They couldn't find a main event. He stepped in, won that fight, knocked out Jamal Hill. Now he's on the verge of headlining UFC 303 International Fight Week, stepping in again against a very dangerous guy. He might be the first. He's on the brink of fight of the year. He is like
fighter of the decade.
Yeah,
but like.
it's crazy. And if you want the honest truth, if he wins this fight, I think that you have to give him the fight of the year. I don't give a shit if he gets knocked out towards the end of the year. I really don't. I think about it. He's headlined MSG, UFC 300, and International Fight Week.
Yeah.
All within the span of 8 months.
Bad motherfucker, man.
Dude, I mean, but with that said, I don't like that pace for him, even though Jiří's kind of been on the same pace and taking some more damage along the way. But I just do think that rematches are a thing. I really do. And if you've seen historically matches that are like this closely lined.
I mean, look at the Izzy rematch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep. All three, even the kickboxing ones, they were all close.
Yeah.
They were all fucking close. So it's, I just feel like Pereira, if he can get the leg kick going early, which I think he will.
Yeah.
He's going to hurt him. And the thing is, I also will attribute Procházka's durability in that fight to not only his kicks, but also him being inactive after the shoulder tear. Now he's active, got an impressive win against a very tough fucking guy in Alexander Rakic. I think Jiří is a dog shot here. It's not crazy at all. I think, especially if this line keeps getting more crazy and disrespectful, because he's at a plus 130 right now. I think this fight should be a pick'em. That's how good Jiří Procházka is, and I think as good as Alex is, we have to put some respect on Jiří as well, because I think Jiří beats 99% of these 205ers right now.
And I think you're right. I mean, I think Pereira is the side, but at the line, because we're in terms of now we're talking about betting here. The way the line is moving, the money is coming in.
Correct.
On Pereira, I don't think Jiří's that bad of a dog shot, man. I really don't.
Alex at 160 against a guy who's a better wrestler than him, bigger than him, to be frank. Jiří's huge. More explosive than him. Probably hits harder than him. I'm going to take the puncher here, man. I'm going to take the bigger, stronger, faster, quicker, less easy to read guy. And as much as I don't like it, because Pereira's make me a whole bunch of money, but...
And from a narrative, Pereira, again, doesn't do too good in the rematches.
No.
He's,
he doesn't.
He ain't batting 1,000 there. You know what I'm saying?
I think Pereira, he can be solved.
Yes.
He's not like GSP, where he's going to come in different every fight. He has one game plan. He's worked on his takedown defense, but Jiří took him down relatively easy once he got him against the fence.
Yeah.
And this is the same guy who out-scrambled Glover, who's lights out on the floor at 205. I'm going to go Pereira's the lean. That's my dog. But I think if Jiří's line gets disrespectful enough, I'm going to play it. I think Jiří live is fucking this fight, so I think you're there too, so.
And that does it for UFC 303. But now we move on to the sweet science. And we'll kick it off with top rank. Teofimo Lopez, Steve Claggett in Miami. Go ahead, my brother. Break this one down.
I love this fight for Teo. I think Teofimo Lopez, this guy's tailor-made for him a bit, especially after the last fight where he fought Ortiz, and Ortiz kind of stalled him and made it into a technical boxing match that, in which Teo had to kind of, be reserved, because I think Ortiz is one of the most underrated boxers in this division. With that said, I think Steve Claggett walks forward, throws a ton of volume, but is defensively a little irresponsible. I think Teofimo Lopez is going to knock this guy out. When? I don't know. The last time Steve Claggett has gotten knocked out was 13 years ago against Romeo Jacoselem. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But I watched that fight. Not the most technical striker. Threw an overhand, kind of caught him with the overhand, then swarmed him with some volume. That guy does not have the hand speed, the precision, or any of that nonsense on the level of Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez is also historically at his best when he is a counterpuncher. And when you are pressing and he finds holes to exploit you. I think this is a get-right fight for him. I think this is a marketing fight, so he can probably get a fight with Tank and or Matias. After this, Matias coming off a loss, Tank coming off a big win. I think he's going to knock him out. And no disrespect to any of the guys that have fought Steve Claggett before this. After that knockout, I just don't think they have the precision, the sharpness, or the punching power of Teofimo Lopez. Claggett is also 35 years old, and he's had a ton of fights. This is his 47th fight. I think Teo gets him. I think Teo knocks him out.
I ain't got too much to add there. I mean, listen, this is a showcase fight for Teo here. I mean, this is a fight to get Teo's name thrown right back in the hat, right back in the mix. This is gonna be a classic "y'all must have forgot" kind of moment, I think, for Teo. If Teo don't fuck around, Teo should be able to get this guy out.
I think he wants to, because I think he wants to make up for those last 2 performances he's had.
I agree.
But those guys stood on their back foot. Steve Claggett's not going to stand on his back foot. He's just going to walk forward and walk into punches. Like, I think there's a tough fight for Claggett.
Now moving over to Matchroom, The Zone, their main event. I think they're both on Saturday, right? I'm not sure what the timing is, but
I'm pretty sure you're correct.
we got Juan Francisco Estrada going one-on-one with Jesse for the Americans. Bam Bam Rodriguez. Take it away, my brother.
This is a great fight. This has Fight of the Year written all over it. It does. It's a phenomenal fight. Estrada, just a little inactive and a little older now. I think he's 35 years old at the moment. He is coming off, 34 rather. I don't want to age him too prematurely. So he's coming off of, I think, 3 or 4? No, actually, he's had a long win streak. But 2 of his last 3 have been against Chocolatito, where he's avenged his loss in the trilogy. The problem with that is Chocolatito slowing down a little bit, and that was also a year and a half ago. Bam Bam Rodriguez coming off a knockout win off of Sonny Edwards, who gave him some trouble with the defensive boxing. I think this is Bam Bam's fight to lose for a lot of reasons. 34 years old with Estrada, taking a lot of damage. His biggest win, he's avenged all his losses, which is crazy. Doesn't happen a lot in boxing. He beat the creme of the creme of this division at that time. Not even at that time. He's kind of fallen off a bit in Chocolatito. Bam Bam, the young, new, up-and-coming guy. A lot of youth on his side, a lot of less miles on him. Estrada, pretty good at the beginning of the fight defensively, knows how to move his head for a Mexican-style boxer, which is actually pretty impressive, which is why he was probably able to edge Chocolatito the second and third fight. But I just think Bam Bam, with the age, the youth, the power, the speed, I think him moving up into this weight class, I think it's going to be a little bit for Juan a little bit too much for Juan to deal with. Juan's never been knocked out, so I'm going to pick Bam Bam by decision here. He has been dropped, but I don't know if Bam Bam's necessarily going to be the one to do it, because he was having success against Sonny Edwards. Sonny Edwards was getting hit, and Sonny Edwards is a much smaller man than Bam Bam, in my opinion. And Sonny was able to wear it, I think, until the 8th or 9th. Yeah, I think maybe even the 10th round where he stopped him.
It was in later rounds, for sure. Yeah.
I think Juan has a chin. I think Juan is a legend in this sport. Give me Bam Bam by decision. We'll see how I feel later in the week about this fight. But this fight is a banger for a lot of reasons. I want to take a little bit more time to digest this, but gun to the head, Bam Bam via decision. Yeah,
this fight I kind of want to dig a little deeper into. My gut feeling is that I think this fight does go to distance. From a betting perspective, maybe the over rounds.
I like the over rounds. Yeah,
probably a good way to look at this. I think this fight is probably going to be a little closer than the line indicates.
Yes.
That being said, I do lean Jesse. I do think Bam Bam is going to get it done here. I won't rule out a stoppage completely super late.
That's how I would play it, like the 9 through 12. But I'm with you. I think it's going to be a decision.
My first initial gut, without going too deep into it, because I do need to watch some more on this. But from what I can remember, I think I like decision here. But Jesse's the side for me.
Agreed.
And that about does it. We did some Top Rank. We did some UFC. We did some DAZN. Well, I guess not DAZN. It's more Matchroom on DAZN. But, we covered some fucking fights for you guys. We also didn't mention, I think Sonny Edwards is also on this Matchroom card. Robesi.
It's on the Teofimo card.
It's on the Teofimo card.
Bet him my knockout as well, by the way. Parlay the shit out of that.
Robesi.
They're in Miami, bro.
Whatever the fuck he wants. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we had, listen, Subaru at home, kind of. Well,
he's not in Cuba, bro.
He's not in Cuba, but Florida is pretty much like Little Havana. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know.
We'll see.
But Robesi should be whatever the fuck he wants.
Correct.
But we'll get into all of that later on, follow us on social media. You know, we're going to drop, you know, the latest and greatest in terms of our thoughts, our picks, and our bets. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, without further ado, go ahead, my brother. Kick it off.
You already know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying the visuals right now. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that motherfucking notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, you already know. Love you guys. Holla at ya. Episode 60 in the books. See you guys next week. Let's get it in with these bets this week, though. I think we might have some PFL this week, too.
There's always some PFL belts. So I don't know. It's hard to keep up with that fucking organization, but, you know, I don't want to get into another rant.
Yeah, follow us on social media platforms. We got you. Let's get it on.